Okay, I'm gonna be honest. This video is gonna be a challenge. Okay, I'm setting myself a challenge of trying to link up one free agent, one out of contract, unemployed footballer with every Premier League club, and oh boy, this one is gonna be tough. Hello, I am the Irish guy, and I know what you're thinking. Most people are skeptical of free agents because they're usually free agents for a reason. So this one is absolutely going to be a challenge, but I'm going to give it my best. I suddenly feel like some weird professional middle-aged matchmaker who promises she could find girlfriends for a bunch of bearded blokes with over £10,000 worth of Warhammer merchandise. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Lucas Vazquez. Oh, okay, this one is a good suggestion. Isn't it? I was a bit worried which free agents I was suddenly going to suggest for the major teams in this league, because let's be real, most of these clubs with glamorous, overflowing wage bills don't exactly want to be shopping for bargains in bins. Seriously, seeing Arsenal studying the free agent market, who are we kidding? It would be like seeing Rihanna asking if she can get a pop star discount for a sausage roll in Greg's. But Lucas Vazquez might be a 34-year-old right back now, who's got less than 10 Spain caps. But so? He's also been at Real Madrid since 2007. He has represented the biggest club on the planet more than 400 times, starting nearly 40 matches even last season, often captaining the biggest, baddest team on the planet. As talented as this Arsenal squad is, what it seriously lacks is a bunch of winners. Well, this guy has 4 La Liga medals in his house. He's won the Champions League a ridiculous 5 times. I mean, considering Arsenal have put one injury-ravaged right back out for collection on bin day, I think bringing in a winner like Vazquez to sit on the bench makes all the sense in the world. Plus, he can also play right wing, which would save the embarrassment of the Nottingham Forest mess. Aston Villa have sent to Guaita. I'm sorry, Aston Villa. These fans are wanting flash, expensive, cool signings for another crack at getting into the Champions League. And I'm suggesting a goalkeeper you fully stopped paying attention to at least 3 years ago. Yeah, Vicente Guaita is a name I guarantee most of you have not thought about in years. Me telling you to sign him is probably the equivalent of Facebook suggesting you'd add somebody from primary school as a friend, you know, Ellen Bobbs, who you haven't seen since she was expelled for opening a lunchbox of poo midway through maths. Well, Guaita was a dependable, reliable Crystal Palace #1 for 5 years, who squeezed 149 Premier League appearances. I mean, it must be seriously annoying for the 38-year-old that he's 1 game shy of 150. Well, look, he joined Celta Vigo in 2023 and has been their #1 in La Liga for 2 seasons now, but he's just quit for free. Get him in. Aston Villa actually look pretty light in the goalkeeping area. The future of world champ Emiliano Martinez has been up in the air for months. You've seen your usual #2 backup Robin Olsen depart from Malmo back in Sweden, and the rest of your goalies are babies. They're so inexperienced, I'm guessing 1 or 2 probably still wet the bed. None of them are anywhere close to being bench-worthy for Aston Villa. So go out there and bring in Guaita on a free. Bournemouth, Nelson Semedo. Lads, Nelson Semedo is out of contract, and nobody has bothered to notice. I've got to be honest, this guy's rebuilt his reputation in my eyes, because when he first joined Wolves, my most immediate memory of this bloke was getting twisted into salty popcorn by Alphonso Davies in the most savagely embarrassing 8-2 defeat for Barcelona in the Champions League. I'm sure I was thinking that this Portuguese right back was no more talented than a Bugs Bunny toothbrush, but to be fair, he's been anything but a Wolves flop since replacing Matt Doherty in a £27 million deal. He's strong in the tackle, a forward-thinking defender who's barely missed a game for the club, and for some reason he's now available for less than the price of a lollipop. No idea why. He's only 31, and Bournemouth have always been a little bit light at right back because the marquee signing of Max Aarons from Norwich didn't work, and so yeah, when they had a future Liverpool superstar getting all the attention at left back, and Tony Ariola was still just picking a fairly weary looking Adam Smith at right back, somebody who made his Cherries debut in 2010. Seriously, it's been a bit like turning up to a party wearing a 200-pound Air Jordan on your left foot, and on the right foot it's just a cat's litter bag. Come on, Ariola, bring in Semedo for less than the price of a Fredo. It just makes sense. Brentford, Hakim Ziyech. Okay, this one I feel like a little bit of a risk because Hakim Ziyech feels like he should be about 37 years old, right? He's at that stage of his career now. Having spent 2 seasons at Galatasaray, and now the Moroccan winger has quit Al Duhail after just 4 months. Clearly, he wasn't having much fun at Qatar. Brentford fans might be disgusted because I'm suggesting that you sign somebody who's more washed up than the guy who played Jon Snow, right? But he's only 32. I mean, it was just 2 and a bit years ago, by the way, that he was 99% of the way to joining PSG on loan. That bloke was one chunk of botched paperwork away from becoming mates with Messi. I don't think he's ever recovered from that move from Chelsea getting destroyed at the last minute. He's probably fuming at missing out on the chance to go bowling with Messi. Any reminders of that dead transfer, even him catching a glimpse of the Eiffel Tower on the news, probably causes him to sneeze blood. Seriously, don't let this bloke near the bakery in M&S. The croissants will soon look like they're covered in jam. They're not! Well, look, he would be an immediate emergency replacement for Brian Mbemo, a left-footed winger on the right who can curl home some brilliant goals or pop in some wonderful set-piece delivery. Seriously, Nathan Collins will score at least 7 a season from his corners. I think it's a simple one. Bring in Ziyech, scour the market for another year looking for a long-term replacement, and let him cook. Seriously, this would be like when you briefly signed Christian Eriksen. Brighton Christian Eriksen. Speaking of which, yeah. Christian Eriksen is out of contract at Manchester United. Why not? I know Brighton have a fairly healthy squad, but you could always do with having a player of Eriksen's experience on the bench, right? I know Eriksen is one of those faces where he's always looked old. Seriously, he could have probably gotten away with buying beer at 14. But hey, maybe him being on the same bench as James Milner, somebody 6 years his senior, might make him feel like a kid again. Come on, at just 33 years of age, for somebody who Real Madrid were desperate to sign once upon a time, surely Brighton couldn't turn this down. He'd be your new Adam Lallana. Burnley, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Look, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I found you a club. So now you can get off the phone with Eddie Howe, okay? You can now stop begging Newcastle United to make you a Champions League footballer, something which would look so freakishly weird. Look, I know I'm giving DCL a hard time, but it's only because I'm so terrified that he might become Callum Wilson's replacement at St James's Park, because he's an injury-riddled pancake now. However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's just some useless fig roll when he's fit. No, he would be an excellent signing for Scott Parker's Burnley on a free. A Burnley who have gone back to basics, by the way, and who, compared to the rest of the Guardiola copycats in this league, oh, they'll suddenly look like a bunch of cavemen on Match of the Day. It should make Rooney feel right at home. But hey, Calvert-Lewin, when he is fit, he's a handful in the league. I think the days of him scoring double digits in the Premier League season are long gone, sure. But hey, he's surprisingly only 28, and he's hungry to get back in the England squad, bless him. Which, I mean, when he said that, it did remind me when Dele Alli said that he had an alarm clock on his phone every day, reminding him to get in the 2026 World Cup squad. You can probably replace that with a Britney Spears ringtone now, mate. Well, come on, Burnley. If you can convince Kyle Walker to buy into whatever project Scott Parker is having now, then surely you can persuade Big Dom. Now, just get him away from Newcastle. Chelsea, Jordan Henderson. What? Look, it's tough to find a freebie for Chelsea, okay? Because they've got about 1 million players. The last thing they need to do is get more. But if I have to pick one, then Jordan Henderson has just torn up his Ajax deal, alright? And lads, he's still a current England international defensive midfielder. Somebody who was Monaco's first choice before they got Pogba. Lads, he is still good enough for Thomas Tuchel. You know, the only man who's been able to get you to conquer the world. Look, this Chelsea squad is talented, but it's extremely young. So if you're wanting to win the Premier League title this season, then why not do what Tuchel is doing and put a Premier League winning captain in your squad for his leadership alone? Just give him starts in the League Cup and against the weaker teams in the Premier League, if you have to. When Romeo Lavia is inevitably injured. But honestly, just bring him in for the leadership alone. Right? Probably a terrible shout. Crystal Palace, Victor Lindelof. Lads, Victor Lindelof has finally left Manchester United after completing 8 years at the club. I'll be honest, when this Swedish pretty boy was getting bullied in a defeat at Huddersfield Town just weeks after his £30 million move in 2017, I did not think he'd make it all the way to 2025 at Old Trafford. How do you survive 7 seasons? He's like the fat guy I've lost. Honestly, maybe we should cast Lindelof in the next I Am Legend film. Look, he is available on a free now. And I know he's got a mistake in it, but he's got massive experience. He's just 6 games shy of his 200th appearance in the Prem. He's only played a handful of games less for Manchester United than Nemanja Vidic. That is scary. Look, Palace are probably going to cash in a Mark Gehi in August this summer. But like Ziyech being a short-term fix at Brentford to help them breathe and look for the replacement, I think Lindelof would be some fine human sellotape for a year. Everton, Takahiro Tamayasu. Everton need a right back. That's no secret. They've been so frustrated in their efforts to sign either Kyle Walker or Kenny Tete that I genuinely wouldn't be shocked to see them begging Ashley Young to come back. Seriously, I reckon that could happen because they've done this before with the right back. Back in May 2005, they released Italian right back Alessandro Pistone, then failed to get Ryan Taylor from Tranmere, and so in July, begged the Italian back. Wouldn't be shocked to see Young come back too. But what I'm suggesting is, if you want to preserve your dignity, don't howl down the phone to Young midway through a bottle of red. No, just go get Takahiro Tamayasu. Sure, the Japanese right back was injury plagued at Arsenal last season. He only played 6 minutes and is still injured now until Christmas. So this would look like a disaster signing on paper, but lads, he's only 26 and when he played for Arsenal, he was pretty good. Very defensively solid. If you can get him fit, I think he's a long-term replacement for the outgoing Seamus Coleman on the bench. Fulham Luka Jovic. Look, Fulham fans will not be too happy with this suggestion, which is kind of crazy because imagine we told 6 years ago when Luka Jovic was banging in nearly 30 goals a season for Eintracht Frankfurt and was being massively linked with a £60 million move to Chelsea, only to join Real Madrid instead. Imagine we told that Fulham would not want to sign him when he's 27 on a free. Look, the Serbian is a bit of a one-season wonder. It wasn't just Eden Hazard who crumbled into failed lasagna the minute he became a Galactico in 2019. No, Jovic was also pretty dreadful. 3 goals in 51 matches, and just last season he trickled in just 4 for the great AC Milan. This guy is seemingly on a weird world tour of trying to see how much he can embarrass himself at some of the world's biggest clubs. It'd be like seeing Ed Sheeran deciding to sell out global 100,000 seater stadiums across the planet, only to just get out there and burp into the mic for an hour. Look, Fulham are light on goals, and hey, the last Serbian striker they signed worked a trick. Don't buy him as a starter, but decent replacement for Carlos Vinicius on the bench. Leeds, Sergio Reguilon. Seriously, what on earth happened to Sergio Reguilon's career? It seems like only 5 minutes ago after Son and Kane He was viewed as Tottenham's best player. I remember Jamie Redknapp absolutely launching into Roy Keane because he dared to think Reguilon wasn't world class. Right, you should have dug in your heels that day and not back down, because ever since then, Reguilon's career has collapsed. The left back was linked with a return to Real Madrid 4 years ago. Nowadays that club wouldn't want him to empty their bins. He's since been frozen out of Spurs and had very mediocre, unmemorable loan spells at Atletico Madrid, Man United and Brentford. And he's now 28 and unemployed. I don't know what's happened to him, but hey, I don't care if his career is buried in a wormery. I don't care if he does have the self-confidence of a pig, he'll still be a solid signing for Leeds. Liverpool, Jesus Vallejo. Again, like Arsenal, why not pinch somebody that Real Madrid has just released? No, not as a starter. Oh no, let's not talk crazy cheese. No, I'm just noticing that Liverpool do need some centre-back cover now that Joao Kwanzaa has joined Bayer Leverkusen, and Ibrahim Kanadi only has 1 year left on his deal, and oh yeah, Nat Phillips is gone. Signing a 28-year-old Jesus Vallejo, somebody who only played 4 times for Real Madrid last season, somebody who's been a reserve team munchkin in his 10 years at the Bernabeu. Seriously, they signed him in 2015 and he's represented them less than 40 times. That is hideous. But hey, he has lived in England before. Does nobody remember his 2-game loan spell at Wolves? No, let's not laugh at players for failing on loan at Wolves 5 years ago, because Vitinha did that, and I guarantee you, this PSG European champion is going to poll in the top 5 of the next Ballon d'Or. Look, Vallejo would be adequate Liverpool cover and nothing more. The modern day version of when you sign Ben Davies. He'll never play, but he's there just in case. Man City, Thomas Muller. Erling Haaland is an uncompromising, scruffy, ugly footballer who bangs in goals. That is exactly what Thomas Muller used to be, especially for Germany at World Cups. But during his time at Bayern Munich, and especially as he's gotten older, he's become more of a technical player. A stylish link-up number 10. Get him in. Come on, he's a total football legend. 250 goals for Bayern Munich. He's played nearly 800 times for them. He has been at this gigantic club so long, he joined them just a few months after they lost the Champions League final in '99. That's so long ago. The fact he's also got 131 Germany caps is insane as well. He's a world champion with a ridiculous 13 Bundesliga titles, 2 Champions Leagues, 2 FIFA Club World Cups, and an actual World Cup with Germany. For those thinking that he's washed up turkey who can now barely move, and that's why he's been released, now I must stress that you've got potato brains. He played 49 times this season just gone. 49! That is the 16th season in a row where he's played more than 40 times in a season for Bayern Munich. Who on earth gets thrown away when they're 1 game shy of having a 50-game season? That is not the mark of a player who is finished. I don't care that he only scored 1 Bundesliga goal last season. He's still a top player. Bring him in as a, yeah, he could be a centre forward and sit on the bench. So bring him on for the last 10 minutes. And for anybody who thinks he's not a Guardiola player, oh, that's funny, because in their 3 seasons of working together, Muller played the best football of his life. 79 goals and 44 assists. In 3 seasons. Sign him up. Man United, Callum Wilson. What? Don't look at me like that. Manchester United, you just finished 15th in the league. You're currently in talks with Calvert-Lewin. Callum Wilson is, and always has been, better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Manchester United fans might be insulted by this suggestion, but lads, I know he's off the back of a 0-goal Premier League season for Newcastle, but that's only because he's been sitting behind one of the best strikers in the world, and it was only 18 months ago that he had both AC Milan and Atletico Madrid interested in him. This is someone who's only just 12 goals off joining the 100-goal Premier League club. He hasn't just turned into quicksand overnight. I think he'd be a decent Manchester United fit. It would be like when you signed a 29-year-old Michael Owen, again, on a free from Newcastle. And he was fine. He mostly sat on the bench and he scored 17 goals. He had a 9-goal debut season at Old Trafford, which you would take from any free agent. Wilson would probably do the same. Newcastle, Kyle Walker-Peters. Look, Newcastle need competition in every position on the pitch. And Kieran Trippier just had a fairly solid season for Newcastle after recovering from his horrendous wobble 18 months ago, when he really did defend like a drunk Daffy Duck. But he does turn 35 in September, and he's available on a free next summer himself. If someone were to come in and offer 5 million for Trippier now, even someone like Fenerbahce after they missed out on Walker, I don't think it'd be the worst decision in the world to sell and bring in a 28-year-old Walker-Peters for the bench. Just have 2 former Southampton right-backs battling it out to start. Nottingham Forest, Cesar Azpilicueta. Look, Cesar Azpilicueta just left Atletico Madrid at 35, and has apparently said he won't join another Premier League club out of respect for Chelsea. Mate, I really don't think they care. You turn 36 in August. I really don't think your presence in this division is going to harm Chelsea one bit. And I don't believe players when they say, I'll never join another English club out of respect. Cesc Fabregas said that when he was at Arsenal. Literally went on to win Premier Leagues with Chelsea. Fernando Torres said the same when he was at Liverpool. And lads, I've seen Frank Lampard score against Chelsea for Man City, and he's their record goal scorer. Come on, loyalty's a myth. I know I sound like Kyle Walker's misses, but look, I don't believe you, Dave. Come on, Forest, you need depth for your Europa Conference League campaign. Surely it would be invaluable to snap somebody up who's literally won everything. He'd be a perfect replacement for Alex Moreno on the bench. Sunderland, Danny Ings. Experience. Sunderland need experience. I know Danny Ings is over the hill at 32, but so? You have a squad full of children. This is somebody who scored 71 goals in this league. And I know he only scored in 2 matches in his nearly 3 years at West Ham, which is horrendous, I agree. I know he's absolute burnt porridge, but Don't sign him as a starter, no, but at 32, he's good enough for your bench. I mean, it was either him or Aubameyang. Take your pick, they're both on a free. Tottenham, Abdullah Doucouré. I'm kind of confused why a 32-year-old Abdullah Doucouré is available on a free. This guy is bossed in Everton's midfield. I was pretty much publicly telling them to give him a new deal. It didn't happen, and he wouldn't be a flashy, exciting signing, no, but this would be a bit like when Tottenham signed Moussa Sissoko from Newcastle. Be a good midfield squad depth. West Ham, Ashley Young. Yes, I'm actually telling West Ham to sign somebody who just turned 40 yesterday. Happy birthday, Ashley Young, but go on. The club have just let a right back go in Vladimir Kufal. Go snap up Young. The last 5 years of this man's career has astonished me. He joined Inter Milan at the age of 35, and I thought he was done. But I think he then reach a Europa League final, win Serie A, and still have enough in the tank for 116 more Premier League matches for Aston Villa and Everton? No! I thought he'd go back to Watford in the Championship. He's just 15 games short of 500 Premier League matches. If he has one more season of playing most games in the Premier League, he could very well go 7th in the all-time appearances list. 7th. He's less than 20 games off Gerrard. He says he's fitter than ever. He doesn't seem 40. I know it sounds crazy, but West Ham reunite him with Aaron Wan-Bissaka so he can battle with the bloke who stole his dream Man United job. Wolves, Vladimir Kufal. Why is Vladimir Kufal released? Seems a little weird. He was a solid defender for West Ham. Well, since Wolves are releasing Semedo, this seems like the perfect choice. This seems like the perfect jigsaw puzzle. Easy. There! I've actually done it! I actually think most of those made sense. And they don't seem that crazy. Well, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I mean, you might think they're absolutely insane. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and ways. I'll talk to you in a while.